so many people, you're a gatekeeper.
Yeah, dude.
Ancient Chinese secret.
The keeper of the gates.
Which is so weird because I don't, like, I think I'm aware that I am, but like I don't feel like I am in a lot of ways because it's like I don't know. I don't like to view myself as a gatekeeper. It's like it feels
up
like
there, dude.
it feels
you're up
like
there. You're keeping back the hordes of them.
Dude,
you look
that's the
down.
problem,
You're
like,
telling servers to dump hot oil on them as they climb up the ladders, going, "I've got this great transbit," and you go, "Release the stones."
You're just a bearded Mitzi. That's what
Yeah,
you are.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, making all the young boys.
I
stay at
have
your
a distinct
place.
memory. We were standing. It was during the festival, the Motor City Festival last year, and I'm in the hallway of the Indie with a bunch of other comics, and you just like came out of the showroom and started walking down the hall, and a bunch of the guys got quiet and just started looking at you. I'm like, Kyle, and then Jake. And then Jake Ford goes like, "Guys, I want weekend work too, but what the fuck is this?" You're like, "To treat him like that's Kyle, dude." What are you doing?
I think because like the reality is like Jake Ford is one of my best friends, and so like he sleeps at my apartment.
He was sleeping at your apartment
every
that
time
week.
he's in town. So
Yeah.
Jake has no respect for me.
I think he can't even
I
fathom other people having respect for you.
You gotta understand. That's why I love Jake too.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't respect me like that. And, like he does, but like as much as I respect him as a friend too.
We
It's like, he doesn't-
respect
like,
you.
yeah,
Jake
but,
and I call each other up and talk about how cool you are all the time, dude.
I don't know, dude.
We have our scheduled Kyle talk.
Dude, were you in the kitchen when I think it was Jim or somebody walks in and it was Brett. Brett walks in, goes, "What are you guys talking about?" And Jake just goes, "Oh, just how cool you are and how much we respect you." It's like, God damn it, dude. Jakey Ford don't give no fuck.
Yeah, man. Jake, I mean, yeah, I love the guy, but like, yeah, he stays with me, and he's seen the inside of my home. So there's only like a certain level of respect you can have for somebody. Once like you have to sleep on their couch,
guys.
and, like you see the inside of like their like third floor apartment in the middle of summer when it's like 80 degrees in there, and we can't get it any cooler.
It's
and,
like, guys, relax. I came in his garbage can this morning.
he's like, guys, Kyle's not doing that good. Okay,
There are
Kyle's
people-
struggling. You need to respect him less.
There are people in the world that I respect more than myself, and zero of those people have slept on my couch. I can say that pretty confidently.
It is weird feeling like a gatekeeper to people who are like significantly richer than me. you
Yeah.
know, like there's like certain comedians we know.
Are you talking
know?
about people who have really good day jobs and aren't funny? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah. But
You
some of them
know.
have really good day jobs and
Reese
are
and
funny.
Oh,
like,
sure,
You
yeah,
know, like
that's
I
true.
mean, I know some comics who have like really solid day jobs and they make good money and they're also hilarious comics.
Na-
you know, and
name
it's-
Eric-
name
Eric
10.
Lausch is cool.
Name 10.
It's
Name
harder
10.
because you feel like it's weird being a gatekeeper to people who like
Okay.
are way better off in life than you.
Yeah.
And like they're
But that
does
does that not inspire you to gatekeep them more? Because you're like, this is the only scenario where I'm at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, dude. Also,
like,
Johnny, how much do you love this? I'm not a gatekeeper. Proceeds to talk about expert level gatekeeping. I don't like to think of myself as a gatekeeper.
Was it Yang who said? He was like, everybody thinks I'm a gatekeeper. You know what's on the other side of the gate? Me crying.
yeah. Me sitting in my basement crying.
me talking to my wife going, I think everybody hates me.
Dude, what's crazy?
Well, yeah,
is-
you don't know who actually likes you, right? Because so many people.
No,
will-
which is a thing I constantly talk about in therapy.
Yeah, that's probably that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm like how because it's like even like it's like people who I've had as friends for a long time all of a sudden became just kind of people who ask me for work. And
Yeah,
that's all it is. And
Hey,
it's like, that's all the
whoa,
relationship
hey.
devolves.
Hey, whoa,
I envy you to a certain
Dog.
extent because
Duh,
Because
whoa.
a lot of
We're
people.
cool.
Hey, Louis,
Gary
tell
asked me
you.
to do this week, and I didn't even ask you, dog.
It's
I was
not
like,
what I mean.
Detroit House of what? Oh, yeah, that old skid mark? I'll come back. No, I'm just kidding. I love this place.
I kind of envy you though because the people who see you as a gatekeeper or suck up to you or whatever, those can be, like you said, varying levels of good. They can be good comics, they can be bad comics, whatever. If you're like me and you spent the last 3 years, your only the only level of gatekeeping you've ever done is running an open mic
Oh,
at a
dude.
bar show. The people who suck up to me are just schizophrenics.
Those need to be
It's
the
the least funny
strongest
people
gates, though. Dog,
ever.
you
No,
are on
yeah.
the front line of
No,
gates.
yeah, they got to pass through me before they get to you
Yeah,
guys.
dude.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I
Kyle,
gotta filter 'em
how
through.
nuts is it that you actually have to deal with some people who have figured out how to get to you?
Yeah.
That means they scaled a couple of other
Yeah,
gates.
they made it
already.
up
There's a
couple
couple of
levels.
people who like get my email and I'm like, how?
Dog.
Like, somebody got my business card.
Was
There
it a
was-
hot girl? I'm sorry.
Well, it probably doesn't help.
The
Sorry, I
opposite. It was
Dude.
a creepy dude.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah, I don't know how he got it, though.
He was.
I post your literal. I'm gonna put it right here, right now. I put your email and your phone number
yeah,
up
dude.
all the time. I go,
I may
Kyle
or may
loves
not
booking.
Have passed your email on to some pretty girls saying I could vouch for him.
Yeah. Yeah,
There was genuinely
I
a guy.
apologize.
There was a guy who he got my business card almost like because the box office thought he was like a customer the way he asked for it, and he just got my
Oh.
business card. And instead of emailing me, he texted me, and then I was like, and my first response was, "How did you get my number?" It wasn't, "Hello, how you doing?"
Well, do you-
It
do you have a
was,
work
"How
phone?
did you get my number?" Because like I'm like this
Yeah.
guy weirded me out, and I thought I put off the vibes when I met him. Like I don't want to talk to
No,
you.
that's
like,
freaky.
And
That's
then he
insane.
he texted me, and then followed up with, "What did you think of my set last Tuesday?"
And you were like, I definitely remembered
I
that
had
set.
to respond and go, "I didn't watch it."
That should have been the
dude,
name of the
and then
podcast.
he messaged me
didn't watch
like he messaged me like a few weeks later. Was like, "Hey, I'm in town. Want to get lunch?"
Oh no.
I just didn't reply and blocked his number.
Damn,
Like,
dude.
we're not doing this.
That's
man.
How you
real,
gonna-
It's like I gave you. I was cold to you in person. I was cold to you through text, and then you have the
Dog.
you have the balls to just be like, "You want to go get lunch?"
Why?
Can I ask you quick? Are you going to tell us off air who this was?
No,
You
dog.
probably don't
I was
even
gonna
know
say,
him.
dude,
You
why are
probably
you
don't
doing
even know
Jimmy
him.
like that, man?
no,
It's
no.
very nice of you to
You
assume
guys
I probably
probably
don't know.
He's not even from around here. You probably don't even know.
Yeah, you
him.
keeping him off the walls.
that's-
Traveled. Oh, he
Yeah.
took a hike to do the open mic.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You see, I
If he ever
pictured
watches
something-
this, he's gonna know exactly who it is.
He will watch.
Better
The way
watch.
he
He's like,
stalked
oh,
me
my best friend Kyle
previously.
Forsyth was
Yeah.
on the podcast. I'm gonna go support him.
The thumbnail is gonna be your head, keeper of the gates. Red X's over your eyes. I'm gonna give you fangs.
You gotta like put his face on like a Lord of the Rings, like at the Battle of Helm's Deep, holding a sword. Hold.
Just the old guy who launches early and kills the first Urukai. Like, all right.
Guys' heads on stakes in the
See,
background.
what I was picturing in my head when
Looks
you-
like jokes back's on the menu, boys.
when we talked about gatekeeping people richer than us, I was thinking older folks that have a good retirement plan, just graduated the Ridley's class, have a very practiced in the mirror.
I feel like you think about this a lot, Johnny. Just
I
based-
see-
He's got to deal with them a lot
I
more than
can
you do.
clock
Yeah.
them so fast.
Yeah.
I can clock a recent graduate of a class, of any class, so fast because it's always an older person that's like, I'm bored now because I'm retired, so this is what I'm doing.
Dude.
And it's the most like to the word, to the second,
Yeah.
practice
the
set.
crazy. I mean, because I think that class is good for a lot of people.
Yes.
I think if you are serious about wanting to do comedy, that Ridley's class, I know some comedians myself who I didn't take it, but I know comedians who are like kind of like. Well, I had like the attitude of like, I don't need comedy classes. I got podcasts. Like I was of that generation where like you made it weird with Pete
Yo,
Holmes.
self-taught? What's up, dog?
Yeah, I did.
Don't leave it hanging.
But like you made
I had
it
a
weird.
class. It's called Flagrant. That's my class.
Yo, these streets taught me how to joke, dude.
Well, you made it weird with Pete Holmes. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever listened to it, but early on, at least in the early days of it, he had like what I felt like was every comedian that I liked. Like every comedian had done that podcast, and they talked about like one of the things they would talk about on every episode is like, how did you start comedy? What are the tips you'd give to somebody who started comedy, or what tips would you give yourself starting comedy or
Dude.
whatever? It's like, what was your journey like to getting to where you are now? And so I felt like I had like a good idea of where to start from, like what to do. But I realized after a couple years once I learned how to write a joke that I didn't know how to write a joke for like 2 or 3 years. And then but with the Ridley's class, what I've learned from talking to people who take it is that helps you jumpstart that first year or two where you're just trying to figure out how to write a joke. It teaches you how to write a joke. Maybe not necessarily a good one, but it teaches you how to write one. And I didn't even know how to write one.
The regret meter's going to go off right now.
I want to be really clear here. I'm not shitting on graduates of the Ridley's class. I'm shitting on old people. That's who I have the problem. When old people get into comedy,
one of Johnny's new hobbies he's getting into is
being oldest.
Yeah, just ageist. Yeah,
it is. I think I was.
It's the softer isms he's really getting into.
I kind of got into a comment where I was like, name 10 funny old people. I was like saying that to Trevor the other day.
I do think
just call him up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Trevor, get up, dude.
I think the weird thing about old people starting in stand-up is,
it's
and this is gonna sound mean, but I think there's more delusion there than there is with some of these younger comics starting in stand-up. And not all the time. Sometimes the delusion is through the roof with younger comics too. You know, and it's not to say the delusion is you could never do it in comedy, but I think when you start really late in life and stand-up and think you're gonna make this like a full-time thing, it is fucking hard. Good luck. You are going against, now to be popular, you have to be big on social media. And it's just, let's be frank, a lot of older people aren't savvy with social media unless they got somebody who knows how to run it for them. There are some who are good with it, and those ones obviously are excelling in the industry. But a lot of older comics in this industry now, they have somebody running their social media for them.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think the ones who start in stand-up, later in life also, I mean, you do have an advantage in one regard where you have way more life experience to talk about. Louie and I were just talking about how young we were when we started. Same with you. You were young.
I was 18.
I was 19, dude. I didn't have shit to talk about. And hindsight, I had no life experience.
Yeah.
I was on some bullshit. I was talking about wanting to fuck and just random things I observed.
We weren't even talking about fucking. You were talking about wanting to.
Yeah,
fuck.
that's what I mean. It's I didn't even think I was talking about fucking. It's more about the pursuit of.
You can tell, much like old people, where you're like, oh, they're set in the mirror to the letter. You can tell when a 17-year-old, 18-year-old guy is on stage because he's got two things he's going to talk about. Coming and fucking, dude. And I like
in that order.
Both. Yeah.
You remember me for the first few years you met me. I had a big beard. I always kept a beard, and I still do to this day. But there was a point, dude. But once in a while, I shave it off. You see it. Once a year, I'll basically shave it off.
You cherubish little face. You check in on the jawline.
I'll do it once around summertime. I'll really take it down to the face. And I'll go to a mustache. I like to take it down to the face, guys. Take that clip out of context.
That's the
You guys can just
that's the name of the episode, taking it down to the face.
26 teeth back, dog.
But I wasn't doing that for a while, man. Because when I started, the reason I first shaved my beard when I was in comedy, and for a while I didn't shave it, I was like, I got so many jokes about my beard, I can't shave it. And then I got to a point where I was like, yo, I have too many jokes about my beard. Because I had nothing else to talk about. Every punchline was because my beard, or I look this way, or some shit like that. And I was like, oh, you're 15 minutes, 10 of it can't be jokes related to the way you look, basically. And I was like, and then so to make myself not write those, I shaved my beard off and forced myself into a position where I was like, you can't do beard jokes now. You can't do that.
I hear they cover that at the second class in Mark Ridley's. Seems like you really should have taken the class, pal. Would have really jump-started 2 years of writing for you.
I have noticed, I think in the Michigan scene, you can see a very clear division between these two classes of older comics that do shows for older crowds.
Johnny's back on the holes. He's like, just on the old people again. I want to bring it back. I'm not done about old people yet. I got a few more thoughts on them before we can move on.
I didn't hear no bell.
Johnny's
you guys didn't clap for me, and I thought that was weird. So I just have another point I need to get across about old people.
I'm trying to throw the old people a bone because I'm saying there are crowds where the old people will crush and. We would have to really work.
Yeah, they're old crowds.
It's the older crowds. And so and I think it's always by room. I think it's very rare that it's a diverse in age crowd sometimes. And so I think we have the younger, hipper comics, and then we have the older comics, and they kind of have these designated places, like a Jerry Donovan room is going to be older comics, or like one night stands. Tends to do better.
Most places
day,
in Michigan that aren't major cities.
Right.
Doug,
Whereas
worst
like
bomb
in the
I've
city of
ever
Detroit,
had was a Jerry Donovan room.
The worst bomb you've
the
ever had?
worst bomb I've ever had,
sick.
dog. That one lives with me still. Where I'm like, oh, that one rattled me.
The worst one I ever had was a Sal D'Amelio room. So,
There's a pattern here.
You know, like, yeah.
Oh, dude, Nick Earl and I did a Sal room. That was like pretty good, but Brian McCree, like, it was Nick and myself, and I'm looking around this room like, this is not our audience. And thank God they were kind to us, and then Brian McCree actually crushed.
Every time I'm booked on a show that's like in some venue I haven't heard of, and then I look up the headliner that I'm opening for, and it'll be like, you know him from the Bob and Tom show. First thing I think is, oh no. I have this connection in my head that it's like, if they're big credits Bob and Tom show, they're probably older. It's going to be an older crowd. They're not going to like me. I'm going to really need to like
but I've seen
play
you
ball with
crush
these
in
guys.
rooms like that.
Well, because I've learned the code switch.
Yeah, there you
know?
go.
I've
Yeah.
learned
Yeah,
Get your vaudeville on.
Yeah, dude. I literally have one joke that's a Ja Rule reference, but when I'm in those other rooms, I change it to Garth Brooks. Like,
How does
genuinely,
hang on?
it's
How
Ja
does
Rule almost every
I've
major
always
city.
said Ja
joke
Rule
still work?
I've always said Ja Rule's like the black Garth
It
Brooks.
doesn't work either way. That's the
all right.
key. Actually,
In what
it doesn't really
world?
work. Whatever
Don't worry,
reference
hey,
I do. So
We're gonna find a new
Yeah.
artist that's gonna make that joke
We
work.
really got to
Just
get you in that class, pal. Like,
it is. I mean, it is weird that because like the joke. I mean, it's it's a very it's a comparison, and it's like, and so the comparison you could swap out for whichever big celebrity you want. You could swap in any big celebrity name, and like I like you. For me, Ja Rule is a funny reference.
All right.
I think like I just
It's a
think
funny
it's a
name
funny
to
one.
say.
Yeah, it's like. And so for me, it's like also people don't hear Ja Rule much these days, but like I think I don't know. And so sometimes even if I'm like, this seems like a crowd that's too young to know Ja Rule, I'll even like change it to something that's not either of those.
Ja Rule to Girth Brooks. You remember Girth Brooks, dude? Thickest musician this side of the Mississippi. Yeah, Girth Brooks, dude. Fucking wicked thick, dude. Country music so thick you're gonna fucking slow down because you're listening to Girth Brooks, dude.
I mean, it is a fucking sex joke. So.
Oh yeah,
No.
All right.
Did you write that one around 19 or was that?
Probably not long after.
It was after you had sex.
It was. Yeah.
Are you still telling this bit?
Yeah. It was maybe like.
Tell it.
It's
tell
an
it.
old
Burn
one.
the joke.
It's
Burn the joke.
I'm not gonna do it.
The Rocketeers demand blood. Burn the joke.
It's about doing like working in retail, and it's like
Ja Rule walks in.
it's
Or Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah, both looking for the same pair of jean shorts.
Nah, is that I used to work at Rite Aid.
Split the dip.
People would come in, and when you work at retail, people want to tell you their life story, and so like I would just one day I was bringing up a guy, and he just looks up at me and he goes, "Hey man, I used to live in the same trailer park as Eminem," and I was like, at the same time as Eminem, and he goes, "Nah, 10 years after." It's true. That's completely true and did happen. And then I was like bragging about living in a trailer park 10 years. It's like, oh, so you're just bragging about living in a trailer park then? It's like bragging about living in a trailer park 10 years after Eminem lived there is like bragging about getting an STD from someone who fucked Ja Rule. It's like neither of you were there at the same time. Nothing good came from it, and maybe you shouldn't tell your cashiers about it.
You think Girth Brooks and Ja Rule would have? Would they have the same STD?
I was gonna say, is Garth Brooks a sex machine? Is that?
I used to say herpes, and I realized that's almost like more like revolting in a way. Where like some people are like, herpes ain't bad, like, like they get kind of defensive about it, and you can see like some people be like, this guy making fun of herpes, like
I think gonorrhea is funnier.
Well, I just say STD now. Then nobody feels singled out in a way.
You won't know immediately who has herpes.
You could say gonorrhea. That one's curable. Like if you have gonorrhea,
syphilis,
knowingly,
syphilis is pretty.
Then why do I still have it, Louis?
Because you lack the initiative to get penicillin.
That's
I ain't got time to ooze. A little Predator reference for you. Oh yeah, you got time to suck.
I think the joke will really work if you make it Neil Young.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, look at my cum. It's the color gray.
I'm gonna record it when I record my special, but it might get cut. We'll see how it goes.
When's the
that bit is
special?
like very hit or miss.
When's
man.
the special coming
May
out?
31st. We're shooting it here.
All right, I'm gonna bring a whole class
Dude,
from Mark Ridley's.
please
Be like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Have you ever been
get
to-
your notebooks out?
Have you ever been to New Way on a Monday when Joel has the class there, dude?
Dog.
And they're all ah ha 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 ha, like they laugh at everything
Dog.
because they
He
like
takes them to New Way?
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Takes them
he
to New
used to
'cause, like,
take
he wants
them
them
to-
experience an open mic, like you
Yeah,
show up,
yeah.
go up open mic, and they need to get stage time, and then so the whole class will meet there on a Monday, and like you could always tell because Joel's there, and like then also like you can tell they're all sort of like scattered about the crowd, and like sometimes they'll bring people with them, and like but you can all some of them will laugh at anything.
Dog.
So some of them are laughing at anything and everything, and the other ones are sitting there just like nervously like.
Dog,
Like,
Johnny,
panicking,
moment.
like,
If you-
trying to memorize their set
dog,
while
if-
you're on
Johnny,
stage.
if you haven't seen it, it legitimately plays out like an old gladiator bringing a bunch of recruits to the killing pit, and some of them are like overamped, like I fucking got this, and other ones are like, and I remember one time,
Just taking up your helmet, looking
Yeah,
at the picture
dude.
of your wife on the
yeah.
inside.
Meanwhile, like I remember he took him to Prankus once. You remember the Prankus show, right?
Yeah.
Shout out, big dog. Shout out to Bart Dangus, who used to run Prankus. And that was like a heckle encouraged mic in like the back room of a tiny bar. And one night he brings out the class, and Bart had stacked pallets to the point where when you were on stage, you had to like hunch your neck to be on stage. And so I remember
Like while you're on stage.
yeah,
the
while
whole
you're on
time,
stage,
you have
dude,
to
it was
hunch?
hilarious. Like
That's
Bart just
crazy.
put enough pallets where when you were on stage in this tiny back room, if you were like over 5'2", you had to like cock your neck or squat. And I remember Joel shows up with a class of like new recruits.
Yeah.
And they walk in back, and you could just see the horror on their face. And Bart's on stage like, come on in, fuckers. And it's just like, yeah, this is open mic, baby. And they're just, and then one after another, yeah. You some of them are good, but it's just like, yeah, dude.
Lambs for the slaughter.
Well, it's leaving the Shire, dog.
Yeah, yeah.
You're in the comedy castle. You're behind the gates, dude. You're in the castle. You feel great, and then you go see where the peasants fuck, and you're like, God damn.
all these new Ridley's class graduates go back to their dead wife's grave, going like, "Oh, you don't know what I've been through today."
This is like I think that is like a necessary thing when you're taking a comedy class in a way. I do love that.
The
Like he
field trip?
shows them that because he's like, this is what it's gonna be if you really want to do it.
You
have to
Like,
do a
if
lot of
you-
these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this is
yeah.
what it's gonna be if
Yeah.
you actually want to be a comedian.
Well-
Because sometimes this is what it fucking is.
Dog,
Tough luck.
how about let's take the gatekeeping moniker off you a little bit, because you've shattered through a couple gates yourself and said, "Let me in." You guys remember the feeling when you do, like, even if you're not like annoyingly try to get through, but when you're like, I'm gonna get through and then it's gonna fucking rule, and then you do like a club weekend that sucks,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all that work and it still
Like,
sucks.
I thought this was the thing
Yeah,
I was
dude.
working
It's
for.
so far, most of the like, if I get to this point in comedy, it'll finally rule, and then
Yeah.
you get there, and it's just like being in a different part of the desert of a Mad Max movie. We're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, and
There's
it's
nothing
like,
cool
it could
here.
be,
Yeah,
it could end up being a bad weekend, and then also you start by hosting.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
The most thankless role you can ever take.
Yeah.
And so you're like, you have the worst
Which
spot.
shout out to Darius is hosting this weekend, right? Darius
Kennedy?
No,
Walker.
Walker.
from
Oh,
Grand
okay.
Rapids. Shout out.
I
Big Dog.
always,
There's
I mean,
there's Dairy Eye. There's multiple.
I always quote this to
Close.
people about hosting.
fucking close, dog.
You guys remember Stu McAllister?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
shout out Stu
Shout out
McAllister.
Stu,
Stu.
man. LMAFO
Dude.
podcast.
Yeah, so Stu, back in the day, he was just like, he made some post in MCN about like, you know, talking about featuring MCing and headlining, and like when you get there, you know, and like just about like different aspects of it, and he had a quote in it that always stuck with me, and because I agree with it so fucking much, where it's like your job as a host is to set up the crowd and get them ready for the rest of the comics, and if the rest of the comics on the show have good sets, you did your job correctly. If you also have a good set and you do well, that's just a bonus. That's icing on the cake. Your job as a host really is to make sure the feature and headliner do well. It's like, because the reality is you're probably not going to do well. If you do well, it's icing on the cake.
I'll tell you this much. Though I love Ridley's, starting off as a host there, it can be fucking brutal.
Because people are still sitting down.
People are sitting down, and then even featuring at Ridley's sometimes can be a little bit tough. Like, but I will say every headliner always talks about how, like, by the time they're on stage, the room's on fire.
Yeah.
And it's
all
awesome
the grenades were jumped on.
Yeah.
I think all of the clubs in our area are tough hosting for different reasons, though. Arguably,
Showcase is pretty awesome.
It is, but I do still have one gripe with the Showcase. I fucking love the Showcase, and as a host, somebody who hosted there for many years, and this is something I made sure not to do here when we opened. And I've talked to Elisa about this, so she knows. Like, it's nothing that like I'm saying offhandedly, and it's not a big thing, honestly. It's such a small thing, but I hate doing it. Is here at the House of Comedy, what we do is like I do the rules over the God mic.
Big dick on
rather than having
the
host say the rules
over the God mic, and then I just say give it up for your host and MC, and then I say their name. They go up there, they do their set, and bring up the feature. I hate at the Showcase, you have to go up and be like, the comment cards on your tables, fill those out, and make sure to hand it to your wait staff. Do not leave it on your table. You have to hand it to your wait staff.
Anyway, I've been working out.
So my name's Kyle, and that's pretty crazy. That's a shitty name to have.
I have a secret. I have a secret at the Showcase. I have a go-to, like a back pocket thing I do whenever I'm hosting there.
Same. What's yours?
My thing is, so I always end the announcements with the comment card, and this is a true story I just tell, where I say, fun fact, first time I ever worked here, my mom was in the audience, and she filled out a comment card, and the 3 comics she suggested to see here in the future were Dave Chappelle, John Mulaney, and me. So that's why I'm here tonight. And that always gets a laugh, and then I go straight from that into, here's my set.
That's smart, having like a prepared bit. I used to have one for there when I did it, and I forget what it even was. I had some like basic thing, but most of the time I would forget to do that bit, and I would be like, so dating's weird, and it's like I had like a stark transition because like I hate it. To me, it's like you're quickly villainizing yourself to the audience. You're like, hey, I'm the bad guy. Here's the rules, and now laugh at me. And it's like
I got to tell you, both those are pretty great. But
like all great comedians, we love rules.
Also, at the end of Ridley's,
foolproof way to get through at any club that does that. You don't do it. And then when they go, hey, what happened? You go, oh, no, I forgot. And they go, I won't forget next time. And then you do forget next time. And then they don't hire you back, but you have a pretty kick-ass weekend.
You had a good time.
Yeah, had a pretty good time. I don't work at the Showcase anymore.
When I did Ridley's, I don't think anyone gave me any instructions. And they give some instructions on the God mic, like Joel says.
Yeah, I thought they do.
And I went out and did my set, and then during the show, I saw that there's like a list of rules for MCs in the back, and I didn't do any of the things on the list. And it was like this laminated piece of paper, and I was like, "Oh my god,
that thing's been."
I was like,
forever,
they're never gonna have me back. And then I asked, I think like Cronin, because Cronin was featuring that night, and I was like, I think I'm never gonna be welcome back. I didn't do anything to the list. And he's like, dude, nobody knows about this list.
Yeah, Are you talking about like the dirty old laminated one right before
this
the
is as
slidey
relevant
door?
as the inscription on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
it's just still there.
At Ridley's, it's like it's always funny to me because at the end you have to like list all the upcoming headliners basically for like the next 2 or 3 weeks,
which is nuts because they have an IMAX theater screen that tells everybody before.
Also,
clips.
Additionally, you have to you do the little bit that they give you where you say, if you've had too much to drink, we'll call you a cab, but we won't pay for it. And you have to say that at the end. And
anyway, have a good night.
Dude, I've seen so many comics use that all around the area hosting because Ridley's ingrained it into them, so they say it all the time. And like, I'm like,
that's another one.
Somebody said it here once, and I went up to them after the show. I said, well, we won't call them a cab. We'll tell them how to use Uber. But I was like, we're not calling anybody a cab.
Yeah,
Like,
don't tell
it's
them.
like also that's so outdated. Anybody's gonna use Uber or
Yeah,
Lyft.
dude,
Like,
right.
come on, it's an outdated joke. But also, it's like I think it's funny when you have to list off the headliners at the end at Ridley's because every time I've hosted, I feel like the crowd's just walking out as I'm and next weekend, Chris Porter, huh? And then the weekend after that,
Don't go, come back, come back.
Yeah.
Don't leave.
Right, because they're all trying to beat
They're
traffic.
all like trying to
Yeah.
push each other out the exit, like a
Yeah.
stampede out the exit. While you're still like, but I got 2 more headliners to tell you about, and a bit about calling you a cab. Don't wait.
You're
Like,
gonna love it.
yeah, and so like whenever comics are here, I'm like, they ask me like what to say at the end. I'm like, tell them follow Detroit House of Comedy on social media. We got different headliners here every weekend. Tip your wait staff and get home safe. I'm like, keep it short and sweet. These people want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and they're like, okay.
I'm gonna pull Darius aside and teach him the old Lou method this weekend.
Yeah.
I want to hear Darius say to you back here later, I forgot.
Yeah.
Like,
I-
whoops.
I don't really
There's
give that
nothing to
much of a
forget.
fuck.
I
Yeah,
know,
there's
I
no-
know you do. I
And
got pissed.
I give less of a fuck when somebody doesn't say it rather than somebody just running on. It's like when they're like, all you got to say is this, and then they're like, they do a big spiel at the end or something, and they're like, and I do this all for God, and you can do this too because we're all in this together. And it's like, I'm like, all right, like something inspirational. I'm not totally against, but like, wrap it up quick, you know, like make it short and sweet. Like we don't need to hear 3 minutes about like how you got here on stage and your journey to it.
Yeah.
They came out to see the headliner. They're already done. They're walking out. Like, take the hint. Like, I turned the lights on already.
You're just gonna keep talking as people are filtering out.
Yeah, man.
One thing I noticed here, because the first time I hosted here, I asked you, I was like, "Do I need to be cleaner in my host set?" And you were like, "I don't give a fuck," because that's something I'm used to, is the idea that a host set should be like PG, you know, because or it'll depend on the headliner.
For me, it's just it depends on the headliner. But if I know the headliner is a clean comic, if I know that,
you don't
I'm
want to have a dirty
booking
opener
somebody
for
who's a
comic.
clean comic.
Right.
You know, it's like I'm booking somebody that I think is gonna fit that crowd in the first place. I'm not booking somebody that I think is gonna. If I think somebody's gonna be a little dirtier, or I know what their act is, I'm booking them because I think they're gonna do well with that crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to have them try and clean it up. The only time that happened was we had Zoltan Kazas here, and I booked Pete Sender. And I found out the
Is
day
Zoltan
of
clean?
Zoltan's clean.
I didn't know
he's like sneaky clean,
Yeah,
like Nate
yeah,
Bargatze, like where you don't really notice. He's like
not
sneaky
branded clean.
Yeah, but I think people know he's clean because he's done Dry Bar and stuff, and I think he kind of talks about it, but not like too much. You know, like he is open about the fact that he's clean.
Dude,
but, like,
I love Zoltan, but he always looks like he's coming down from mushrooms on stage.
Not really anymore. Have you seen him with the short hair?
No.
He's got very short hair.
I'm
now.
talking about his fucking eyes, dog.
Oh, yeah.
He's always like kind of smiling through his teeth, and his eyes like, I think I'm coming down.
He's super
Zoltan
cool.
rules.
He's
dude.
hilarious too. But like I booked Pete Sender, and Pete's not exceptionally dirty. He's got like some curse words in his act. But I found out the day of that Zoltan was clean, and then like I was like playing music, and
Does he
like
care?
Yes,
Oh,
a little bit.
shit.
He wasn't like really pissed about it or anything, but like he was like, "No, I get it." Like, and Pete was like, "No, I can work clean. It's fine." Like he did for the most part, and then at the end of his set, all his jokes are done.
Yeah.
All his jokes are done.
Yeah.
Okay, and he goes, "You guys ready for a great fucking time?" I'm so sorry.
That's incredible.
He said like shit once
Dude,
up top, but it kind of
it's
like breezed by
the
like shit.
Indiana
It was just in
Jones
there.
hat, dog.
And like you saw him like notice he did it. Like he like put his head down. He's like, and he's like, I'm sorry. You know, he kind of apologizes to the crowd, but they don't know why he's even sorry. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
Like,
They were there for the
and he's like,
cause,
my
dude.
bad. And I'm standing in the back with Zoltan at the time, and like me and him seeing us, and he was like, dude. He's like, I don't care. He's like, it happens, man. He's
old
it was so
school-
funny because it's like you made it. You were right there.
Yeah,
like
dude.
you were
So
there.
close.
Like, you got there. You got it through the set, and like then at the end he just slips, like just being like, "You guys ready for a great fucking time?" And you saw him look down and see the defeat in his face and realized he fucked up so quick. Oh, it was so funny, dude. It's
That's
like
a real-
You were at the finish line and you tripped right before.
That's such an Alanis Morissette ironic type of thing to
It's
happen.
like literally like when you see a fucking cartoon or something and they're right at the finish line and they trip and their head is like touching the finish line on the ground, you know? Like
Nice.
you're like, oh, you're right there, and everybody's running past.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like that. I was like, damn, dude, you were so close.
It's like walking a rope, getting the other side, and then you fall off because you're dancing in celebration.
Yeah, dude.
You
But
just got
Zoltan
a
was cool
old
as hell.
school FCC radio where people say fuck on air. It's like you just keep going. Dude.
Yeah.
You just don't acknowledge it. You gaslight a whole crowd like, nah, I didn't say that, and then you keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
I was at because at the showcase, Roger will generally tell you he wants you to be clean if you're
Yeah.
either hosting or doing a guest set,
Mm-hmm.
and he called me clean to my face a day that like in my set I had sex jokes, right? Like I had sex jokes, I swore a bit, but I think it's because I wasn't like graphic,
Yeah.
and that counted as clean, right? Like, and then I would kind of push it a little bit each time. I'm like, well, Roger calls me clean, so I'm just gonna do what I do. And then it was one night I forget who, maybe I was hosting for Broussard or somebody, and in my joke I said cock. And it was like suck cock was in the phrase that I used, and I'm like,
You're just
still
talking
great.
about your hobbies on the
I was
weekend.
talking about what I do.
walked into that one, dumbass.
I said, yeah. Well, I didn't want to burn the genius bit.
Yeah.
And then I walked out, and then in the green room, Brad was there, and Brad was just like, "Did you say cock on stage? I would not have done that." And I kind of, and then when I texted Roger, thanks, he was like, "Yeah, good job. Try to write more clean stuff for next time." I was like, that's the wall. Like you can say sex, but you can't say like cock or
Cock?
pussy. Or,
Wow.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know.
I mean,
You can't name the parts.
It is so interesting too, because like I feel like I've worked there and not been clean, but like I got in by like almost pretending to be clean. I did the showcase 3 times and I got passed to be an MC there.
Yeah.
The first time I did it, I was like a year in and I didn't do well. I didn't get brought back anytime soon. It was like 6 months later, or like maybe like I think I waited like a year and a half until I signed up again, until I felt like, oh, I'm ready to like be seen now. And like I signed up and then I asked Roger to watch my set. I did like 5 minutes of like cleanish material that I had, no cursing basically, and like no overt like really filthy sex stuff. I think I might have mentioned sex or something. And then he told me he liked it, and he's like, I want to see another 5 minute clean 5 minutes from you. I want to see some more clean material. I came back 2 weeks later, did another set of 5 minutes, cleaned up material, not clean material, but
Censored
material
for TV
Yeah,
material,
like
yeah.
material
Yeah.
I took some curse words and stuff out of, but it worked enough. And then Roger like passed me and gave me my first weekend at the showcase, which if you guys had the same thing that I got, which a lot of comics get, your first weekend is during the summertime unpaid.
Yeah, that was my first weekend.
Yeah, which
That's
Yeah.
they pay
Weird
during the summer
method,
now, but at the time they didn't.
Yeah.
A little bit of slave laboring going on there. You're like, oh,
But off of that, I got a paid weekend, and then
Yeah.
from
Oh,
then
yeah,
on,
dude.
I had paid weekends. Then
$75.
I was still.
Oh, I wish it was
Yeah.
$75, Louis.
for the weekend.
Oh, for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, it's better than that now.
Is it now?
It's-
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember like back in the day, a paid weekend as an MC
Yeah.
at Showcase would be like $75
For the whole weekend.
not
For the
me.
whole
like
week.
3 shows.
For 3 shows. Yeah, sometimes.
No, I thought it was like 125.
Yeah, 'cause
Maybe
I
if they did them all.
I think I get 40 per show.
I thought it was.
now, if
I'm
you're
telling
hosting.
you, I swear to God, I think
Maybe
at
I'm
one point it
wrong.
was 25 a show. So if you
Wow.
only did 3 shows, it was $75.
I forget what the pay
Hey,
was,
that's
dude.
working.
And I mean,
That's
you
like
know,
the guys who will do
well,
a
here's
Tom
the thing.
Swan show, and they show the scratching when they got for it, and they're like, first paid gig.
Could be big.
I love the showcase so much. I would still take free weekends in
Yeah,
the summertime.
dude.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like I would take my paid weekends, and then Roger would be like, "You want a summertime weekend too?" I'd be like, "It's a weekend at a club. Fucking give me.
Yeah.
I'll do it for free." You
Yeah.
know, like
I've-
because I was
I've-
just hungry, and it's like getting club stage time was so few and far between.
I've passed up better paid stuff for stuff I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
Like I got offered maybe $150 to host for. I'll say them. They're friends. The Dog Comics guys. They
Yeah,
were doing
Dog
a show in theater. They
Productions?
wanted me to host for them.
Yeah.
And they offered me like $150.
Who's that? That's Niles and
Nicole
it's like
and
10
Don.
people.
Shout
But
Oh,
it was-
okay.
it
I
was
was gonna
ju-
say shout out Niles and
But
Nicole.
it was Joe
Big
Johnson that
dogs.
asked me. at the
Okay,
time.
cool.
And then Brad wanted me to feature for him in Toledo for $100, or maybe it was less. I don't remember. But I was like, I'd rather do that. I'd rather
Yeah.
do a 25-minute set with Brad. And
I
he was
mean,
driving, so I'm like, I'd rather do that
We're
than
very
host for
rarely
these guys.
in a position where it's like financially you know, like,
right, where you're like,
where you're like the difference of $22 after gas.
That's the difference of the groceries.
Yeah,
I'll buy
exactly.
this week.
It's like, dog, I don't know, man. That's the money comes in like headliners really doing like, okay, I've got to live.
Right.
Which gig pays more? But it's like when you're on the come up, it's like, I don't know, do the more fun, better show most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you're like, oh, this pays a little bit more, but it's a nightmare. Like, all right, well, you're probably going to want to quit.
Sometimes
and die.
that's why it pays more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're earning every goddamn
Substitute
dollar.
teachers, the best paying substitute teacher spots are like in Lansing.
Also,
And then
I'll
Okemos
say,
pays
Oh,
shit.
because Lansing, you go in, you gotta be like, how do I teach these kids every
as
day?
a now comedy club manager too, though,
Uh-huh.
for what it's worth, I will say I understand
You've
why
been
they
at this
didn't
for
pay
years,
why they
dog.
didn't pay somebody, why they didn't pay MCs in the summertime. The amount of fucking hits we've taken in the summer,
Sure,
dude.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
well,
like,
rough time.
yeah.
Dude, stand-up comedy
tough.
in the summer is like cottage
In the
cheese
Midwest,
out in the
man.
sun, dude.
And it's interesting because people like I meet comics who come in from like hot areas, you know, like from the West Coast or from California or Arizona or like Texas or something, and they don't fully understand why, like they haven't really dealt with the
'Cause they don't have
comedy dies
season
off
change.
in the summer.
Summer
Yeah.
slump,
Like,
yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's just pretty much the same all the time. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, no, it's not that in
Arguably
Michigan.
more
We get
so
like
in
3
the
months
summer.
where people just don't show up
Right.
for comedy at
Dog,
all.
it gets so hot in some of those regions, that's their peak, where it's like
Dude.
air conditioned and dark
Yeah.
So
room.
I've worked at Stan's
That's what they told
twice.
me.
I worked at Stan's twice, both times like summertime.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking boat town.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's
I'm like,
nobody there.
Mike, dude, why are you doing this
Yeah.
to me? Give me one. It's like nobody. It's always tail end of summer too, where everyone's trying to get their last week out on the boat.
Yeah.
Too.
And I hate that. Okay, so because it is a lot of that, but I'm also from Waterford, and it's not all that either. Like
Sure.
that's the thing.
you're
where
from
it's-
Hey,
Waterford.
Yes.
a lot of people
I'm
still
from right
smoking meth in pickup trucks.
I'm so glad you said that. 'cause
It's
I was,
not all pontoon
I was about
boats.
to have a lot more to say about
Yeah,
Waterford.
no,
I'm glad.
please.
Yeah.
I moved out of there for a reason. Like, I lived right on the border of Pontiac, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of Waterford that used to be Pontiac.
Moving on up,
so
baby.
it's crazy because it is like very much a boat town, and I do know that. In the summertime, like everybody either goes up north or they're out on the lakes. One of the two things, or they're up north on the lakes. You know, like and so that's what it is.
Dude.
It's so in
Michigan
Waterford,
folk love their
man,
inland lake pirate
it-
life.
Yes.
I gotta get into a small body of water and endanger everybody by driving this thing a little drunk.
I always say it's so weird
kids on a tube. Hope I missed them.
It's a lot of old people with boats and shit, and like there's like some fucking mansions and gated communities there, but there's also like the neighborhood I grew up in,
Dude.
which had a trailer park and a halfway house in it, like a couple group homes,
I gotta
like,
tell you.
you know, like a couple streets you didn't go down once the pedophile map on the internet became a thing, you know, like
Oh, they'll come to
Some
you.
dense looking streets on that
Dude,
map. yeah.
literally, there was a fucking halfway house right outside of a trailer park inside of my neighborhood. And I lived
row.
across the street from Mr. Allen's. Which
fuck
Every
yeah.
town's got to
Dude,
have that spot.
it was, well, like, yeah, it was. Like,
Oh, the
a weird area.
pedophile district? Yeah, pedo district.
I grew
It's the one part of town that is triangulatedly the furthest away from every school. It's just like, oh, there.
How do we find the furthest location from every single school?
It's like, all right, where
My
the
neighborhood
most
was so
pedophiles
trashy.
live.
It was like all houses, but I lived in what was technically a double wide made to look like a house in the neighborhood. And I didn't know this till I was an adult because it looked like a house. And my mom was like, no, technically it was like a double wide that they built up around it and made it look like a house. She's like, but it
Couple,
wasn't double wide originally. And now that I've been in double wides and single wides as an adult, I'm like, oh, I grew up in a trailer basically. And I
Damn.
didn't know. Like,
They got you.
like,
They got
it
you.
was all houses around me, dude.
You just walked out every morning in a trailer park being like, look at these pieces of shit. They don't have a real
No,
house.
the trailer park was in my neighborhood.
Not like me. I'm real house
Yeah, dude.
Kyle.
That's the crazy part is there's a
Damn,
trailer.
dude, you had false trailer park fucking big dick energy.
I was like, I can't go to the trailer park. That's where the trash live. Like, I'm in the
Not like me.
neighborhood.
You were real. You were
area
a real
with the
Walmart
houses.
house guy.
Yeah, dude.
And
You never questioned going up a couple things upstairs and why there was just 3 feet of brick around your house.
there was.
Yeah, of course. God, they got you good,
Yeah.
dude. You
They
fucking, you're walking around your house like, why does our house feel like I could collapse a foot and a half down?
Most trailers are like got like a trailer skirt around it, but we just had it up on blocks all around
Yeah,
it,
this-
so it looked like a house.
This group of piggies built half of their house with bricks.
Dude,
You were like,
And they'll huff and puff and smoke the meth down.
you were like, this house is rickety, but for all I know, this is how all houses are.
yeah.
What am I supposed to know?
Yeah, dude. It was a weird neighborhood.
Yeah, no
Me
shit.
and my sister got followed home from the bus stop a few times.
Dog,
To be fair,
the
the-
juxtaposition of having the trailer park house next to everybody else that's like, look at this delusional guy.
Well, I was gonna say the out of the closet trailer people probably looked at you and just like,
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, dude. Like,
All that money you spent on making your trailer look like a trailer wearing a goofy house
we
mask.
bought it looking like that.
Oh, damn,
so I
dude.
always thought it
Oh
was a
shit!
house.
So they upsell you on it because it looked like a
They
house.
sold it to us like
That's
a
good
house.
for equity. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was sold as a house, so we I think
Oh,
like my
man.
mom got a mortgage
How did they
on it.
get the
you can't get a
inspector?
mortgage on trailer homes. Like on a
Damn.
mobile home in a trailer park, you cannot get a mortgage. Trust me, my wife and I are getting a mortgage and looked into it. We were
Damn,
considering
dog.
moving to a trailer park in
Sounds
Troy.
like your mom didn't get a house inspector
Yeah.
either. Because anybody rolling up would have been like, yeah, that's a double wide with 3 foot of red brick around
She
it.
probably knew. She just didn't want to tell me.
Yeah, well,
Next time your mom bought a house, she like went up and pushed on it a bit just to make sure.
Yeah, dude.
Just like,
The next
Oh,
one
yeah.
was a house. It was a real house,
That's
but I didn't get to live there till I was 19.
dog, having
Yeah.
the trailer park right next to the $1 Million Inland Lake neighborhoods is hilarious.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
one looks like circled all around trailers, and the other one looks like a bunch of fences being like, you
Dude,
stay out.
Well, that's the thing is there was no lakes around my neighborhood or the adjacent neighborhoods. The lakes were like
just a lot of
you had
creeks.
to drive like a half mile up the street to get to any lakes.
That's not that far.
Yeah.
What
No,
the
it's
fuck are you
Half
talking
mile
about?
or a mile.
What do you mean? A half mile is in
Maybe
your
a
neighborhood.
mile. I
Yeah.
don't know. A mile. Yeah, about a mile to get to a lake.
It's
Still pretty close. There's a lot of lakes and water.
walking
but-
by all those trailers made it feel like longer.
Yeah, dude.
Walking by the
I had to-
forest.
I had to walk down main streets to get to any lakes. I didn't walk many places in my neighborhood. I didn't.
And that's
you
hard-
didn't want to walk around too much in my neighborhood by yourself as a child.
Main
Yeah, 'cause
streets
there
are hard
goes-
to do.
Oh, there goes house kid.
Yeah, dude. I had a justifiable fear of my neighborhood.
Main streets
Yeah,
are
it
hard
was
to
a
walk
trailer
on.
park.
It was a neighborhood. There was a trailer park in my neighborhood attached to it.
Okay.
My neighborhood was houses. There was like
No,
yeah,
I think
If it ain't,
Mine
if
was
it
not,
isn't for
but-
House Boy,
Yeah.
check out House Boy.
I
coming
think your
through.
mom subtly convinced everybody else. We're like, well, we can't be the poorest trailer on the block.
I think the thing is, the house next to us was not a trailer, but it looked shittier than our home. So, like, our home did look nice in comparison,
Sure, yeah.
but then the
Jesus.
house on the other side of us was, like, nicer than us, you know?
Whoa.
And they had, like, four-wheelers and shit. Like, they had, like, some more money.
Oh, Shitty House is going to be standing king of the yard when the F1 tornado comes through.
And then my buddy who lived across the street, his mom let us shoot paintball guns at the garage door. So
Total-
that's kind of the vibe over there
yeah,
at
that's-
Josh's house.
That's trailer park energy, dude. That's,
Yeah, dude, he like got a paintball gun out one day, and he's like, we can shoot this. And I was like, where? I was like, I'm not taking a hit. And he's like, no, my mom just lets us shoot it at the garage door.
Yeah,
and I was
there you
like,
go.
really? My mom would kill me if I did that. And he's like, yeah, no, we're good. And I was like, she lets you? He's like, well, we started doing it, and now it's just what it is.
Oh, yeah.
We should go
That's
visit.
That's a.
We should go visit his hometown and see if any of those fake house trailers have like one of the 12-foot skeletons outside. Like they're doing
For
the
sure
whole
they do.
fake
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
suburban
It's
thing.
Like the neighborhood across from us
gonna be a
does.
whole-
I saw it this past
Yeah.
October. Yeah,
Dude,
for
that's
sure.
that's the symbol of everybody having a good time in the
Also-
park. Is just everybody being like, rent was tough this month,
Dude.
but look at all these skeletons.
Check out the skeleton.
Nobody
I'll keep
in-
her up year round. I
Nobody
don't
in-
have enough space in
Dude,
my house to store
Also,
it.
trailer park kid breaking a mom energy is just shooting a paintball gun at the garage door, and as the Newport starts to burn her lips, she goes, I guess it's better than him running around in here with it. Like, what a nightmare of a gift to give a trailer park kid.
You know what would be really funny?
Learn at a trailer park.
It would be really funny.
I feel like I gotta emphasize.
Yeah.
I did not live
know.
in a trailer park.
You're awake.
You lived in a neighborhood
I
with
lived-
houses.
I lived in a neighborhood with houses.
You're
There was a
awakening-
trailer park attached to
Nah,
my
dude,
neighborhood.
dude, you're awakening a weird a weird clan adjacent when the clan dragon's like, I just want to drop off a pallet of guns in South Chicago and see what happens. I'm like, I kind of want to go to a trailer park with a bunch of free paintball guns.
You know what would be really funny is if back then you were self-aware and you didn't want the trailer park kids to know you lived in a house. So you're like walking home from school and you're like, oh, yep, this is where I live. And you wait till everyone leaves and then you walk over to your house.
I think it's
You're
funny
like,
you think I talked to the trailer park kids. All right? Somehow
dude.
I thought I was above them.
This is
Turns out we were on the same level the whole time.
That's what I'm saying.
Literally and physically.
yeah.
Just like, all right, 3 feet up, and look at those fucking morons.
Yeah, I just got to get back home to my high trailer. Got to get back to my trailer where I live.
Oh my god, to have house energy in a trailer park only years later.
I-
Dude,
knowing
houses
you got
are a
duped.
state of mind.
Dude, I got the fucking coordinates of it tattooed on me.
Oh, nice.
Why? In case ET needs to go home.
I don't know, dude.
No, there used to be a house here.
'Cause I was
They're like, no,
21.
son, there was never a house
son.
here.
They
Like,
drove it away.
Dude,
God
I do
damn.
drive by just to see what it looks like once in a while, and they're
How's
keeping
it
it
look?
up.
You imagine,
Yeah.
Johnny, if we produced a funny games version, but it was in a trailer park.
We would die.
Yeah,
We're in there
movie-
with golf clubs. We're done, dude.
The movie just and no, instead of golf clubs, it'd be paintball guns with frozen pellets. Like, all right. Oh my god, dude! All right, butt
Yeah.
plugs.
Butt plugs.
Butt plug time.
Butt plugs.
Butt plugs, dude. What you
yeah,
got coming up?
This is
Uh,
coming out
besides
next
besides
Thursday?
keeping the gate, what are you up to?
You can catch me here regularly. I'll be at the Comedy Castle featuring at the end of February or March, something like that, featuring for J. Chris Newberg. I don't remember what the dates are. Look up J. Chris Newberg at Comedy Castle,
What's
and
your
I'll be
Insta?
there. My Instagram is I am Kyle Forsyth. I'm recording my first ever comedy special here at the Detroit House of Comedy on May 31st of this year. It's my birthday, so come buy tickets for that.
If
I'm
you
funny.
are in a Mark Ridley's comedy class, you got to get these tickets now.
Dude.
This is coming out with February 13th then, right?
Yeah.
Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently in Oklahoma, I think,
All
if
right.
you're watching this.
I'm gonna need you guys to syndicate this a couple times in May.
Hey, well,
You're gonna have to do a re-release.
I'm going to tell you
I
right
like
now.
that's
after,
been, he won't even come back on. He's like,
after-
just play it again. Do a rerun, dude.
yeah, dude, I'll reclip it.
I don't want to do another episode. Just do like a syndicated thing, and I'll take. You can
We're
cut
just
me my
gonna-
check in the
we're just
mail.
gonna- I'm just going to cut your dates again and put them on. We had Kyle back. Also, if things went well, last episode's going to get us dozens of
Yeah,
new
no,
people
this is gonna be a huge pop
commenting,
now.
going, what the fuck is
We'll,
this?
we'll talk about how our nights went.
Dude,
next
I already
Thursday.
know what that you guys are gonna. I mean, you've probably already seen it. If
Yeah.
you're seeing this one,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
already out. Go to the last
Yeah,
episode.
go to
Yeah.
it. Johnny?
You could probably just say what it is because people have already seen it at this
the
point.
Sheriff
It's
Chris
out.
Swanson.
Mate,
episode.
yeah, that's true.
You should
because it
probably
happened
plug it
yesterday.
because it's out.
Nah,
Yeah.
dude, they'll see it.
Also, if you're listening to this now, he's announced that he's running for governor.
Yeah.
That's the other. I didn't tell you that, but he should be running for governor now.
We just call him Gov Dog, dude.
Well, he's Gov Dog. to
Sheriff
us.
Gov Dog.
Sheriff Governor.
Sheriff Governor.
Hey, Governor Sheriff.
He's the Shovener.
When this is coming out, so on February 15th, I'll be at Greywall Hall in Lansing. I think it's a fundraiser show for women or something. It's like it's like for all
Some
I
women.
think it's for some broads.
for
I don't
some
know.
ladies.
I think some chicks are putting together a thing to get tampons. I don't know.
February-
Jesus, Johnny.
Tuesday, February 25th,
Good
I'm at the
God.
Williamson Theater with you and with Sam Talent and Elena and Nick. The 27th, I'm at Good Judy's in Grand Rapids. Also, recently found out at the Treetown Comedy Fest in Ann Arbor, I'll be opening for Gianmarco Cerisi on The Late Show at
Very
Blind
funny
Is
Pig.
it
guy.
what day is that? Thursday?
Yes.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Motor
Okay.
City Comedy Festival. John Marco Cerezi.
yeah,
Shameless
way
plug
back
on
in the
Motor
day.
City Comedy Festival.
Let's see. All right,
in
this comes out
September.
on the 13th, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, Gov Dog already out there, just shaking hands and shaking babies, saving the kids. Okay, I will be at Zany's with Sorab February 18th. That's a Tuesday.
Farouzesh, right?
Yeah, Farouzesh.
Farouzesh.
Every time I
Funny
announce him
comic.
on stage, he just goes by Sorab.
Funny
so.
comedian.
Sorab rules, man.
Yeah.
So February 18th, Zany's. If you want to bounce,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
about
bounce.
to
You
get out of here.
bounce.
Also,
Bounce.
313 Comedy at Detroit Shipping Company
I'm
every single
editing that
Sunday.
out. That's not making it.
Every Sunday.
Yeah. Your time was done.
No country
Yeah.
for old Kyle. dude.
Also, Kyle, we're not paying you, and this is going to get you pretty good exposure. Hang on. This will be funny. We'll pop him in.
was that?
Let's see. You know what? February 25th, Williamson Theater with Johnny, Elena, Nick, and Sammy Talent. And, there it is. Guy's got jokes.
Hey, that's the guy who decides who's funny.
Oh, fuck, dude. You said the loudest fuck part quietly. Oh, Kyle, I love you. If
We
you
love
made it to
Kyle.
this point, you just got dumbass.
In your own house, dude.
Oh, all right. Hang on.
Bump the mics?
Yeah, let's touch the mics.
All right.
Hang on.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
All right. Welcome to being white. Great. Great.
Yeah.
Feel the privilege.
I do feel a little bad that our first black guest is at the tail end of an episode.
Well, we got to test it out. We figured
There we
Darius
go.
good fit,
Yeah.
Happy Black History Month.
You know,
Happy Black History Month.
Happy,
yeah.
yeah.
This is the first episode of Black History
Hey, we
Month.
got it in the middle. Middle of the month.
At the 11th hour.
After Kyle's episode.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny that as I was editing last week, and I don't think we've had a comment yet, but only took about 48 episodes for me to go, hey, I guess we haven't had a black guy on yet.
Yeah. And we know plenty.
Yeah.
Not as by that I don't mean enough. I mean like we know a lot, but we can always know more.
I'm cutting all this out.
No, don't
You got the minimum bare requirement.
Yeah, yeah.
A black friend, but you have friends. It's better.
So how was last night while Louis was stranded in Flint?
Oh man, it was when I went out there, it was like 12 people,
Oh,
and then when it finished, it was like 30.
Well, hey, everybody, that's what the other side of the gate looks like. Dog.
Some of you are thirsting for this. This host spot. So wait, you're saying by the end of your set there were 30?
No, the end of the
by the end of the entire show.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when
Gotcha.
Gary got out there, it got a lot better.
All right.
And
Gary,
people started
Gary
flowing.
rules. You got to meet him then?
Yes.
Yeah, Gary's
Yep.
good people. Oh, shit. There's a. Come on in.
No problem.
No,
We're
get
sorry.
in the shot. Come on. What are you doing? It's going to bump our numbers up by 200%.
See, you guys are
Gary
really
Vayner.
getting that quota you want right
Sorry, buddy.
now.
Jeez. Well, I don't know if you've heard this, but DEI is on its way out.
Yeah.
And,
Word on the
dude,
street.
That's
Hey, don't worry, I already
insane.
took the classes. I took all the DEI classes. I'm up to date.
Oh, God.
If they get
dude.
rid of it, it's still up here.
I'm gonna need you to put that in a book so we can hand that book and pass it down next generation to next generation.
Right. Yeah. I'll rewrite everything. Once they burn all the books, it's going from here to the page. Don't worry. I'm preserving it.
A considerable amount of time.
Darius, anything to plug coming
Yeah,
up?
what do you got going on, dude?
Next weekend I'll be featuring at the Underground Laugh Lounge. It'll be really cool. After I'll be at the Dirty Show for Laugh Fest. We're on
Me
that
too, yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yes. Then like funny things later on down the road. My first time hosting at Mark Ridley's in May.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then there's some Don't Tell stuff
Dude,
and all that stuff. in
shattering
there.
through gates. This was a Gatekeeper episode.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
talking about you getting through
A gatekeeper
bunch
and a
of
gate
them.
shatter in the same
Yeah.
one.
Where
Oh my
can
God.
people, Darius? Where can people find you online?
DariusWalkerComedy.com.
Perfect.
All right, Red.
All right.
Anything else?
Nothing else.
All right. Hey,
Bye, everybody.
see you, everybody.
See ya.